welcome back. Yeah, welcome back, listeners, for another spooky episode of Far Out Flicks. All October long. all October long. It's coming, man.
Don't do that.
Don't
do that.
It's already fucking done, dude.
We're not Jim, Bob, and Billy in the morning, man.
I really wish I had a soundboard, or like had taken the time to set up the one of the MIDI boards to drop like a freaking oh god, what is it?
Monster sound.
A monster sound would be good. A ghost sound would be good. Ooh. Although I already did that with the spooky, so I don't know. That's like, I don't know. It'd been redundant.
Or even just a sound bite of the guy from the Wishmaster would be nice right now.
Make a wish.
Make a wish.
That was my best attempt at it.
I need to listen to it again. Is he British?
No, he's not British. It's like, I don't know, man. It's a weird accent that's going on there.
Fake Persian.
In a very Caucasian body. So yeah, if you guys didn't catch it, we're doing Wishmaster this week, which is one of my long-term favorites, mostly because it's just got awesome special effects up front. The movie has got fantastic effects, which makes sense.
Kicks ass.
Which makes sense because it's directed by someone who is mostly known for their work in special effects. In fact, has far more special effects credits than directorial credits, which would be Robert Kurtzman. Just to get that one out while it's still fresh in the noodle. But before we get into it, man, like, how's your October going so far?
It's going good. I'm having fun watching some scary movies.
What have you seen recently?
Well, mainly the ones we're doing for this show. I also watched Cats last night, the new version of Cats. That was interesting.
It's horrifying to watch, but not for spooky reasons.
It did make me very uncomfortable.
But you didn't get the butthole version.
No, but I think they're gonna release that.
Then why even watch
the director's cut eventually?
It's well, I'll be on the lookout.
Apparently, that's out there, the butthole version, but
it exists.
I mean, it's one of the main features of a cat. I feel like they put their butt in your face, right? That's one of the main things they do.
I don't know. I'm not a cat person. I want to say that the butthole version was the original, and they removed the buttholes after the fact. I mean, it would have been a digital butthole to begin with, right? Like
sure.
they're not walking around with their cheeks splayed.
I mean, honestly, it's noticeable. The absence of the butthole is noticeable. But also, you have like these real actresses and actors. And when they bend over to see like a little butthole there, it's like they have a skin-tight kind of bodysuit on. I feel like, yeah, I could see how that would be a vulnerable feeling for the cast.
Sure. Sure, why not? But yeah, I think it was edited out because it did not test well with audiences, which
makes sense.
To the surprise of no one.
That was a scary movie, but in a different way, I guess.
Yeah, sure. I will not watch it, but I'm glad you're out there doing the legwork for us as a team.
Doing it.
I watched last night Books of Blood, which is based off of Clive Barker's omnibus horror anthology series from the 80s, which there was a movie actually already made, Book of Blood, in 2005, which I also highly recommend to anybody listening. It's got one of the fucking most gruesome intros for any movie in that time period.
Hell yeah, I haven't seen those.
The Books of Blood is super good and super worth checking out on Hulu. If you got Hulu, it's there.
Nice. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I did watch Up. Again, not a very scary movie, but...
What are you fucking doing with your October, man? What the
listen,
fuck?
Listen, I've been sleeping on Up for, I don't know, how long? A decade?
You'd never seen Up?
I'd never seen Up.
You're kidding. Well, okay.
Nope, I don't watch every Disney movie that comes out or anything like that, you know?
Well, I think that's Pixar post Disney Pixar separation, right?
I don't know. No, I think it's Disney.
Okay, you're probably right.
I saw the castle at the beginning.
Yeah. You have all the rest. You have 11 other months to watch Up, and you're squandering October watching fucking Pixar, man. I get it, though.
Okay. It's okay.
I guess. Man. Anyways, well,
we're going to watch more scary movies this month and make more podcasts.
Yeah, dude, I've watched literally nothing but scary movies since October 1st.
I think we'll be able to squeeze out one more after this one.
A couple
before the month of October ends.
At least. I would like 2 more.
Might have to double down, though.
Sure. I watched some of the there's only 2 Halloween King of the Hill episodes, which is season 2,
Yes.
episode 4, and season 7, episode 9. Halloween and Pygmalion for anybody who is interested. But also going through the Bob's Burgers Halloween episodes. I'll probably hit a little Simpsons. That's like my lighter.
Simpsons Treehouse of Horror or whatever. Treehouse of Terror.
Yes. And then, yeah, I'll get like probably a Hocus Pocus in at some point.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why not? I'll probably watch The Exorcist. A few others.
Yeah, sure.
Trying to find some new ones as well.
There's actually, I got a cool tie-in to The Exorcist for this movie later on. Other than the fact that, again, the director was, I cannot stress, like I was looking at all of his credits earlier, and it's like, Robert Kurtzman has been in horror for 5 decades, from the 80s to the 2020s, mostly in special effects roles. I don't even want to start going into the list of them, because there are just so freaking many. It's like he was involved in every horror movie.
Every single one.
Dude, just about. But
does he have his own like special effects company? Or?
No, and they're varying roles. So just depending on like what movie we're talking about, sometimes like he was in Dances with Wolves as the Buffalo special effects supervisor.
That's pretty cool.
Sure, like but there's no like perfect chronology to it. It's not like he was like a makeup artist and then supervisor from then on. Like it jumps back and forth. But some of like the cool ones that we could probably talk about: Darkman, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, The Exorcist 3, which is one of my Exorcist tie-ins.
So a lot of those are Sam Raimi movies.
Sure.
I believe so. The first, like, maybe 3 you mentioned, right?
Yep. Dude, Misery, Tremors, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Bride of Reanimator, Pumpkinhead, The Mask. Dude, it just keeps... Mortal Kombat, The Frighteners, Scream, From Dusk Till Dawn. It just keeps going, and I'm jumping all over. I'm skipping Blade. I don't know. You get the picture. Most recently, on the critically acclaimed end of things, The Haunting of Hill House.
Okay. Nice.
It's just so many movies. Oh
and
my
it
gosh.
seems like he basically just brought in all of his buddies.
Well, that's
who
like...
also have been involved with a bunch of movies,
Yeah, it's like it's the in crowd in the horror industry. Oh my god.
It's like this movie is a love letter to like that era of the horror genre.
Absolutely.
Almost. Like the late 80s, kind of early 90s.
For sure. And like to that effect, or, expanding on that, this movie has Tony Todd. This movie has Robert Englund. This movie has Kane Hodder. You have Candyman. You have the only actor to play Jason more than once, in which he's Jason from Friday the 13th 7 through Jason X. And then you have Freddy freaking Krueger. You have the 3
guys.
The guys, man. The guys. On the Kane Hodder connection with Robert Englund, he and him are very good friends. Kane was also considered for the role of Freddy Krueger in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, due to the fact that he actually has real burns on his body. Obviously.
Oh, wow.
Robert Englund got the role, but they became friends through it and have been, lifetime friends. The movies I was just naming out were just like the 90s ones. I hadn't even gotten to the 2000s, 2010s. It's insane. Look at his filmography on Wikipedia, wherever else, IMDb, and you'll just be blown away because it's just so many movies. Oh my god.
That's one thing that makes this that's one of the things that makes this movie so awesome. It's just all of these horror legends all in one movie. Pretty epic. Yeah. And also kind of, have you seen the subsequent Wishmasters?
I watched part of 2 once, but I was like falling in and out of sleep. I think it was in a prison.
I think that was made for TV.
Yeah, and then like the 3rd and 4th one, Wishmaster 3, Beyond the Gates of Hell, and Wishmaster, The Prophecy Fulfilled, are not really horror movies.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I feel like Wishmaster, coming out in 1997, its kind of brand of horror, it was kind of on its way out. In a way, it's almost like one of... I know there's others, but it seems like 1997 was late for this kind of horror movie to come out.
Sure.
It's like film was changing at that time. And now, it's kind of... I would call it fun. It's fun horror. Whereas like now you get Hereditary and all these other things that are just totally unsettling the whole time.
Sure, but that's like 2 decades later. So we're like
True.
glossing over the 2000s horror. Which, there's like a pretty noticeable evolution. And I would say, much to the film nerd in me, like I missed the schlocky horror. And I'm not calling this schlocky, by the way. I think this has got some excellent body horror. Although
it's great, but it's fun. It's not trying to be overly serious or anything like that.
Yeah, it's got some Gouda on it, little Ches, but it's still super fun. But I do enjoy, A24's works. And, when I think of like artsy horror movies outside of like The Shining, the first one that comes to mind for me is Let the Right One In.
Okay.
Because that was like one of the first foreign films I watched. It's foreign horror, and it's like weirdly barely horror,
Yeah, that was a weird one. I think I saw it one time.
The Swedish version or the American remake?
I saw the Swedish version.
Okay. I've seen both. They're both good.
Have you seen the movie Troll? Or not, maybe not Troll, Troll Hunter?
I've seen, I believe, both. But anyways, we're getting way off.
They're fun to talk about.
They are, and it is kind of like the swan song, I guess you could say, of like that era of horror, kind of like the big bad monster. But with that being said, they were made Freddy versus Jason. They can
True.
They continue.
Absolutely,
dude. Halloween 2000 or whatever. Remember that?
Is that the Rob Zombie one?
No, that was just Halloween title.
Oh,
again.
okay, gotcha.
Halloween 2000 had, I think, Ice Cube in it.
I'm not gonna watch that.
Sure, I mean,
love NWA, but
anywho,
he was good in Friday.
So yeah, this movie, and I couldn't confirm this online, but I heard it from a very trusted source that this movie kind of came to fruition based off of just like some, ideas that were left over from like Hellraiser movies or whatever.
Because the same writer who wrote Hellraiser, I'm pretty sure, wrote this one.
Yeah, so there's just like some, shitty fates that he had in mind for people that didn't make it into the Hellraiser series. And that's
the scraps.
And then they were just like, hey, let's make a fucking movie about an evil genie who could do all this shit. Because it's like the same thing as the Cenobites. They can do horrible things.
It's almost like these films sometimes are just like a vehicle for those awesome practical special effects, Well,
that is what this is, right? I mean, it's an FX masterpiece, in my opinion. But yeah, so it's got, instead of Cenobites, literal demon spawn, per like the Christian understanding of demons, or I guess Judaic, whatever. They're now going with a completely different type of demon.
Zoroastrian demons.
Precisely. And it adds like a monkey's paw kind of like thing to it. So it's like, you get your wish, but it comes out all fucked up for you. And that's fun. That's fun, right?
That's pretty fun.
Who doesn't enjoy a needful things kind of spin on shit?
A greedy person kind of like getting what they wanted, but in a messed up way.
So yeah, the movie starts with like, a narration talking about angels, and then
In between the angels and humans were the jinn,
yeah, bingo.
and they're like demons.
They're basically demons.
They're demons.
So if a person wakes up a jinn, genie in a bottle, whatever,
It's gonna fuck with you, man.
you get 3 wishes, but the third wish will free the legions of jinn on Earth. So, replace jinn, demons, whatever. It's
He's just trying to free his people. Honestly, at the end of the day, that's all he wants to do.
let my people go.
I mean, I kind of understand his viewpoint. It's fucked up. Why'd we trap them in the gym?
Well, they're not all trapped in the gym, right?
The other ones are still in hell.
They're just in their like jinn dimension. The jinn is the one who is captured in the gym. But we're getting just a tiny bit ahead. So yeah, the movie explains this shit, and then we see like the crafting of this beautiful ruby thing, fire opal, whatever. I think it's a fire opal's the actual name for it. But you see the creation of it, and
He makes it like a blacksmith or something. That was... Is that how they make gems?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at the
He
jewelry.
like had it in like a cast. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, like an ingot or something. But instead a precious gem. But they make it, and we see like the sorcerer, like, or advisor. I guess his sorcerer is the credit. Like running through the palace, and like it's just mayhem, and there's like all kinds of like just people running around, fleeing the scene. People are dead and are dying in like horrible, horrible ways.
Yes, this part's awesome.
Like we see one woman who's like turning into a tree or whatever, which is pretty freaking sweet.
Yep. One guy gets frozen in the wall, I think.
Yeah, one guy gets sucked into the wall.
There's
Lizard person or snake person.
I vividly remember the snake person from my childhood.
The snake.
The guy who has no legs, and he's just like slithering on the floor. It's messed
Save
up.
us or whatever. Yeah.
Save.
Yeah, and then
So good.
my personal favorite, the dude like has the skeleton come out of his body, like having his skeleton turn on him.
Oh yeah, it's like when you slow cook like ribs or something. You just grab the bone and it just pulls right out of the meat.
Yeah, but this looked like it was a lot more painful. I mean, I guess getting slow cooked would be pretty bad too. But and man, that skeleton, like I was watching it and I was like, that looks just like the skeleton from Scary Movie 2.
Probably is.
It might be. I didn't check to see if he had anything to do with Scary Movie 2. So yeah, the palace is just like in a state of disarray. All these people dying horrible,
Horrible deaths.
horrible deaths. And the sorcerer like enters the emperor's like, I don't know, chamber or hallway. It's a little bit of both in my mind. But and we get to see the djinn for the first time.
And the djinn he's full djinn at this point, right?
Yeah, like green skin,
he kind of
yellow eyes.
He almost looks like a mix between Darth Maul and the Emperor, the evil Emperor from the trilogy, the prequels.
That would be Emperor Palpatine.
Yes.
Who is Emperor Palpatine for 600? Yeah, I would agree to that.
And I mean, it's interesting because it kind of came out around the same time, actually.
He could pass as a Star Wars alien. That could be a thing.
Sure. But yeah, he's scary looking, and he's got kind of a dark cloak covering his head.
Yeah, and got like weird tendrils coming out of the head as well.
Pretty badass.
Pretty badass. Yeah.
Apparently that suit took like 3 hours to get into each day and like 1 hour to take off.
That sounds
pretty
miserable.
hardcore costume.
Yeah, that's Yeah, that would be terrible, man. I operate on a like get dressed in less than 5 minutes kind of basis. It's
Pretty
just
much, yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
So, anyways, it's revealed all these horrible deaths are occurring because the emperor's been making wishes, and like the djinn does the whole monkey's paw thing where you make a wish and it like has a horrible outcome. Your wish is granted, but like in a horrific way, or ironic way, or whatever. I don't know. Either. And basically, the emperor's like, I have to save my people. And that's when the sorcerer, like, brandishes the gem, and begs the emperor not to make another wish and sucks the djinn into the gem. Traps him.
Which this is some kind of bastardization of like early Persian mythology.
Extreme bastardization.
Because apparently
But-
that sorcerer is supposed to be Zoroaster, the like founder of that religion or something.
Yes, that's correct. Correctamundo.
So he traps the djinn inside, and then it cuts to like present day America, quote unquote, even though it's extremely 90s version of America.
Yeah, extremely 90s film version of America.
Then it cuts to Robert England, I believe,
Yeah.
who plays Freddy Krueger.
Correct. His character in this is Raymond Beaumont, and he's supervising workers like lowering a box containing some famous statue or whatever.
The most unprofessional like dock workers ever.
Oh yeah, dude, pouring literally from a hip flask, pouring whiskey into his coffee while he's operating a crane. Which then he doesn't even like drunkenly do anything, right? He just spills his fucking. I guess spilling is kind of a drunkard thing to do,
Sure.
but spills his shit on the crane controls, and it drops the statue, killing the Robert England's assistant or Beaumont's assistant, Ed Finley, played by Ted Raimi.
Yep.
He's like one of those guys that you're like, oh, I know you.
Yeah, it's Sam Raimi's brother.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I meant like his face, super
Sure.
recognizable, but you might not know his name.
And then another
Anyways.
dock worker immediately runs up to the wreckage and like looks for shit to steal.
Yeah, that's first response, but he sees the fire opal and freaking takes it and pawns it.
Totally ignores like the dude crushed by the box.
Yeah. Yeah, who cares about the
gone.
viscera spread everywhere like a crushed a 200-pound mosquito. Anywho's, so he pawns it and it eventually makes it to Regal Auctioneers, where the character Nick Merritt, played by Chris Lemmon, whose father is extremely famous. His father was in a ton of movies. Instructs him to praise her, the main character. Alexandra Amberson, played by Tammy Lauren, to examine it. So, in looking at the gem, it wakes the djinn up.
Tammy Lauren, I feel like I recognize the name, but I didn't really recognize her face. I thought the dude who plays the djinn like carries the whole movie, basically. He's so good.
Correct. Tammy Lauren has some filmography, but mostly she's in TV.
Gotcha.
And even there, it's, I think
Spotty.
mostly... Yeah, I mean, she's not a leading role on any show. It's more on an episode-by-episode basis. But hey, stayed employed,
Yep. There you go.
You gotta get that work. But she inspects it. It wakes the djinn up or whatever. And then she leaves it with one of her
Her
colleagues.
coworker, who's kind of a creeper.
Well, he's just a nice guy.
He's
Dude,
a
that's
nice guy who like keeps
That's-
trying to ask her out, and like it seems like he's kind of supposed to be likable, but
He is for sure supposed to be likable, right? Like they're playing tennis together. He's good looking.
really we all know he's just cannon fodder.
I mean, yeah, he's for sure dead meat. But like this, under the lens of 1990s, this guy was like supposed to be,
Suave.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the guy that she like wasn't getting her head wrapped around or whatever. You know, like that was the good thing right under her nose.
She's a strong, independent woman.
In the 2020s lens, yeah, he's a guy who can't take a fucking hint, but he does have a sweet car for whatever it's worth.
And he's like a scientist or something.
Yeah, a gym scientist. And he's good at tennis. So,
There you
or
go.
I mean, I
There
don't
you
know
go.
if he might not be good at tennis. I don't know. He plays tennis. He's trying to play
You're
tennis.
defending this guy way too much.
I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm saying the intent of his role is different than like what almost anybody who would watch this film now's gut instinct would be.
Sure.
Like the character.
Sure. Gotcha. It was
that make
satisfying
sense?
watching him die, though.
Sure. As is with everyone in this movie. But anyways,
Exactly.
she leaves the gym with Josh, and he's like analyzing it, and the gym explodes, destroying the lab and releasing the gin.
This part's awesome.
And this is
This scene stuck with me.
the little tiny gin, the little
Oh,
baby
yeah.
gin.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
it made me think of like a Dragon Ball Z character where
Yes.
like he's like the little gin,
Yes,
and then he turns
yes.
into the big one. Total Dragon Ball Z character moment.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so the little Jin,
Played by Vern Troyer.
played by Vern Troyer, like crawls over
Who's
to
the man?
Josh. Yeah, who's the man? Was
Was.
the man? Rest in peace, King. Um,
I don't know why that was funny.
yeah, you're fucked up, man. The little Jin goes over to Josh, sitting there dying, and he wishes for relief from his physical pain, and the Jin grants his wish by killing him, and that like the granting of the wish, you know, beefs him up into the big Jin. Again, see DBZ.
He powered up.
He powered up, man,
Yeah,
and it didn't take 30 minutes of screaming.
One of the lamer kind of wishes, but you
That
know,
was-
you got to
that
build
was-
up to something.
Yeah, and it makes sense, right? He's like weaker. All he can do is do a little like
A little person.
a totally borderline non-ironic death. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I guess it is by definition an ironic death, but it's like it's low effort. It's low effort as fuck.
Yep. Pretty badass though, and the costume was good.
The costume was good.
And was
Costume.
that pre? That would have been pre Mini Me.
Yes, but just by a couple of years.
Yep.
Yep.
So where are we?
So yeah, Captain fucking Friendzone's dead now. Alex gets informed of his death. And she basically like tracks the gym to the statue of
She finds
Beaumont.
Beaumont. Freddy Krueger.
correct.
She basically like goes and finds him, and then he sends her to a folklore professor. She learns
Correct.
about jinns. He tells her, oh, they're demons, blah, blah, blah.
She, but yeah.
Yes, she.
So yeah, basically, Wendy, the folklore professor, explains that jinns are basically demons, and they exchange wishes for souls. You know, yada yada yada. You already picked all that up, but this is all news to Alex, whose friend's soul apparently has been now captured by the jinn. And basically, that the jinn needs 3 wishes from the person that awoke in it originally, see Alex, in order to like open up a portal or a gateway for the jinn to invade our reality, our dimension, however you want to dice it.
Hell yeah. And then I
Yeah.
believe the next scene, the demon's on Earth, or he's out now. He's fully grown, and he's talking to this homeless man.
Yeah, the
I really
homeless
love
man.
this scene.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. The homeless man is like heckling customers in front of a pharmacy, and the pharmacist like tells him to go fuck off, basically. And that's when the vagrant, this bum, stumbles upon the jinn, and the jinn like kind of goads him into wishing for someone he hates to die. So he wishes for the pharmacy to die, and the jinn's like, how? And he says cancer, and
Damn.
Immediately, this dude just starts like bubbling up with tumors like all over and starts seizing out on the ground. Tumor man death.
Yeah, that was a cool scene. I
It was a
like
cool
the
scene.
imagery there.
It was pretty intense. And excellent special effects.
And then, so he's just basically the djinns just running around, stealing people's souls and getting more powerful, presumably.
Yeah, and he turns into his like human form after this, or his human form disguise or whatever. Uh,
The djinn, by the way, is played by Andrew Divoff, and he is great. He's just he acts it perfectly, man. It's like way overdone, but it adds so much to the movie.
his delivery is like strange, but it does its part. I don't know. The accent or whatever's going on just throws me for such a loop.
It's the way he talks
What
is
are your
very strange.
wishes?
Over articulates the words.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. The punctuation's weird too.
What do you wish for?
Miko, wish. I don't know. I'm not doing a good job of it, but no, not at all. But you get the idea. So in his human form, he goes to like I don't know, Belk's or something, the JCPenney. I don't know, some mall store,
Some department store.
and he manages to like go to sales clerk this very attractive young woman into wishing for eternal beauty, which like turns her into a mannequin. Which is also a fun scene. I like how the eyes roll into the back of the head.
That part's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. Although too quick. I would have liked a more gradual turn into a mannequin. Feel like that one, they glossed over that too quickly.
Sure. Yeah, that was a quick one. So apparently now the djinn is searching for Alex because she's the one who let him out.
Yeah, he's got to find her and get her to
He's trying to
make them
free
wishes.
all his boys, the other djinn, trying to release them on the earth. He needs her to ask for 3 wishes, whereas I guess everyone else only needs to ask for 1 and they die.
Yeah. Let's see. Jin, there's another death in there, man. The Jin ends up in the police precinct, like trying to get Alex's information.
Yes, and this is where you get Jason Voorhees.
No, not yet.
Not yet? Oh, okay.
No. So in the police precinct, he's trying to get Alex's whereabouts from him, and he, goads the detective into like, what do you want? And the detective's like, that guy over there, I know he killed somebody, but we can't pin him to it. And he makes the wish to like catch the guy, and then
Catch the guy red-handed.
The guy just like basically immediately like grabs a gun from a cop and just starts blasting police officers left and right, and eventually dies in a hail of bullets himself.
Oh my god, yeah, that was so ridiculous when he died. He gets hit by like 30 bullets while just like standing there shaking.
Yes.
Pretty fun.
So then he goes to visit Nick, who's the owner or main dude of the Regal Auctioneers, Alex's boss. And this is where we get Jason Voorhees.
There we go.
Kane Hodder's character is a security guard. And basically he goads him into wishing him to like walk right through him like a tough guy thing or
he's
whatever.
like, I'd like to see you that or whatever. And I mean, the wishes are very...
That wasn't even like...
are extremely vague. Like, it's kind of like wordplay or whatever, but a lot of these people aren't even wishing for anything. They're just like... The djinn will be like, do you want this to happen? And the person will just be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then the wish is granted, which seems unfair.
He says, I'd like to... He said, I'd like to see... You're going to have to get through me. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, and he gets turned into... I guess it's stained glass. I just thought it was
like a pane of glass.
Yeah, which I thought would have been. To me, it just looked like he was stuck in the glass, but like, I don't know.
The special effects were quite ambitious for '97. I mean,
sure, It's just like I've read that it says he was turned into stained glass, and I
I
was like, is
see.
it stained glass or is he just like in the glass?
Kind of just looks like he becomes two-dimensional. Like they just, I don't know, some green screen shit, basically.
Basically, yeah, I agree. Um, so he's now talking to Nick. He's gotten in past the security guard.
Which one was Nick? Was he the?
He's Alex's boss.
That's right, the kind of sleazy diamond dealer or whatever.
Yeah, he's got all the '90s bling on and stuff.
Jersey Shore.
So he agrees to like help him, the Djinn, out in exchange for $1 million, like kind of facetiously. And we see, I particularly like this cutscene. We see his mother, his elderly mother, take out a life insurance policy for $1 million, and then it immediately cuts to just like a plane going, like
That part's awesome.
it is.
Bye, Grandma.
Yeah, nice, quick plot, execution there. Just go ahead and do all that in
They're
one
packing them
low
in,
budget
man. I
scene.
mean, if it's about the cool deaths, then
I don't think a plane crash is that cool of a death. Certainly not when I just see a plane like go off camera.
No, but I mean, it's cool that just Grandma dies. I don't know.
Grandma death.
Yeah, they had to throw that in there. They're not just.
Adds,
There's no ageism happening.
adds an extra point to the film. So yeah, he gets his $1 million via life insurance payout. Again, see monkey paw. Alex is like starting to have visions. And she like goes and talks to the folklore professor again, but like pretty quickly deduces that it isn't not Wendy anymore, but it's the Djinn. And the Djinn is killed Wendy and decided to like, imitate her with his Djinn powers.
Oh yeah, now we're really getting into it.
He offers her a free wish just to like, first hits free kid. And she wishes for him to blow his brains out. So he takes out a gun, shoots, pops his top, and then the head heals over immediately.
Man,
That is what is eternal cannot die.
did she learn nothing from the folklore professor? I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
But
It's a
rest
demon.
assured, that really fucking hurt.
Fucking
Sweet line.
stupid. This is kind of like I definitely watched this a lot as a kid, like late night on, TBS or whatever.
See, and I didn't see this until I was an adult. Or if I did, I don't remember it at all.
I mainly remember Vern Troyer and the snake guy, but oh yeah, I definitely saw this.
The snake guy is very memorable. So, it doesn't work. Doesn't kill him. Unfortunate.
Of
Then
course
she
it
used-
didn't work. What the fuck?
No,
What does she think?
yeah.
She needs a gym, obviously. She needs to
So then
put
she-
him in a gym.
So then she wishes, she uses her first actual wish, and she wishes to know what he is. And
Also,
telepo-
stupid wish. What the fuck?
it's a dumb fucking wish. You already know what he is.
He's
You
a
already-
djinn.
You talked with somebody extensively about this. He basically told you about this. Anyways.
Anyway, cool scene ensues. So
Yeah, he teleports her to his hellish world, which is just like this ruby walled compound, presumably inside the. It's not a ruby. I keep saying it. Fire opal. Pardon me.
the kind of the place he takes her to kind of looks like a low budget like haunted house or something.
So he like releases some, I don't know, gin hounds. I'm gonna call them.
They're like weird puppet demons.
Dog thing. Yeah, I don't know. But they chase after her, and she wishes herself to escape back to her apartment alone. So two wishes down.
Wasting them.
Fucking wasted wish. It's a good band name. Anyways,
I don't know. That sounds lame.
all right. Fuck you too. Maybe it's not a good band name. man. I just don't even know anymore.
Anyway, whatever.
So, the djinn had made some loose threats towards Alex's sister, Shannon. Who, I was going to say Shannon's a babe.
Yeah, where did she come from?
I don't know.
She's just like a throwaway character they introduce in the third act.
Too small of a role. She was in the beginning too. She like told her sister to not smoke a cigarette or whatever if she wasn't enjoying it. There's a lot of cigarette smoking in this movie. It it reminded me that like, oh yeah, everybody used to smoke cigarettes. There used to be smoking sections of restaurants. There used to be smoking sections of airplanes.
Barely even see it with like people walking around now.
Hardly at all. I mean, it's a terrible habit. Like, I don't know. If you like doing it, do it. Whatever. Not my place to tell you. But like, I just feel like it's like the most self-loathing habit. 'Cause it just like you smell like shit afterwards. Your mouth tastes like an ashtray. I don't know. To each their own. Sorry, cigarette
Pretty
smokers.
much.
I don't want to offend any of you.
But you know,
There's
in the
probably
marshmallow test, they're the ones that took the first marshmallow.
As opposed to taking
Waiting to get 2 marshmallows.
I see. Yeah. If by marshmallow you mean longer life.
Pretty much.
But anyways, so enter Shannon for realsies in the third act of the film. And so Alex like hurries to a party that Beaumont was throwing. Again, played by Robert Englund.
Does he know about everything that's going on at this point, or?
I don't think so. You know, I mean, he was the one with the statue, but like, I don't think
Right.
he doesn't know that djinn are real.
And actually,
Not
I
yet.
think he's kind of actually hanging out with the djinn at his party, right?
Yeah,
In human form.
correct. He's like charmed him or whatever.
And then so the djinn tricks Beaumont into making a wish, of course, which is what he does. And he hopes that his party will be unforgettable, which, you know, at this point, all the paintings come alive and kill everybody.
Yeah. Before that, though, Tony Todd's cameo, he is the doorman, Johnny Valentine.
That's right. And he plays
Yeah.
Candyman, right?
Correct. He is the Candyman. But he basically stops the djinn and wishes to escape his life or whatever, and the fucking djinn puts him in one of those glass tanks with the straight jacket.
Houdini
the Houdini
escape tank, which apparently is a Chinese water torture cell, which I was not aware of, but sounds like a horrible way to be tortured.
It does.
And they say
I mean,
waterboarding is bad.
I was just going to say, it sounds just kind of like waterboarding, but with more water. Waterboarding sounds actually kind of environmentally efficient, if you think about it.
Sounds kind of refreshing.
It's not, dude. it's deeply, deeply not. So anyways, they make it into the party. Freaking djinn charms Beaumont, as we were just saying. And he wishes the party would be unforgettable, which is like cue palace scene all over again.
Yeah, this scene was kind of reminiscent of that.
Yeah, everybody in the party is getting... Yeah, freaking rich man at the top makes a bad wish. Everybody suffers.
Bunch of statues, and of course, like one's a samurai who looks exactly like Blade from Ninja Turtles.
One dude's killed by the piano wires that like shoot out.
That is a great death. That might be one of my favorite deaths, along with obviously the skeleton one. But
So the person killed in that was the director, Robert Kurtzman.
oh really?
Yeah.
They like slice his face with the wires and rip off his head.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's awesome.
Pretty bad. It's pretty badass.
One of the better special effects in the movie.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all going to hell. Some statues come alive. One of the statues is a statue from The Exorcist, which is my other Exorcist tie-in.
There you go. Pazuzu,
Yeah, there we go. Bingo.
which is the name that guy from Winston-Salem like called himself, who was... Have you ever watched that documentary or heard of that guy?
No. I feel like I should as a native North Carolinian.
Some
But
stupid guy with tattoos all over his face who called himself Pazuzu and like sacrificed animals.
did he do anything else?
I think he killed some hippies,
Oh,
which,
shit.
you know, I call that just, you know, doing a good deed to society, but
You listeners, let it be known, Braden is a hippie. He doesn't. I'm a hippie. sort of.
self-loathing hippie.
Self-loathing hippies, reformed hippie. I'm a yuppie now.
Exactly. I've turned my back on the hippies.
Yeah, I'm such a yuppie. I'm making a podcast about obscure fucking movies. Anyways, I guess they're not obscure. Plenty of them are blockbuster, weird movies. Let's just call it what it is. But yeah, so the statues come alive. They start killing people, which is great. I love like an unstoppable inanimate statue. It's a lot of fun.
Always good.
'Cause, yeah, security guards shoot them up, and they all just get like fucking cut down by these guys.
Hell yeah, you're fighting a statue. What are some of the other ones? One's a samurai. One is Pazuzu. There's a third one. Is it a knight? I think it's a coat of armor. Suit of armor.
Bingo. I've said bingo a lot this episode. I'm gonna work that out of the vocabulary. But correct. Correct. It was it was a suit of armor.
Exactly. That's my thing. I say way too much.
Exactly. Yeah, it's fun though. So cornered
At this point,
with Shannon gets trapped in the burning painting, which is also like a kind of like mediocre death in my opinion.
they didn't want to kill her, you know?
I guess it's just, I mean, being in a burning painting kind of sucks, I guess, with the implication being she's burning in the reality inside the painting. Kind of like the Jinn has his shitty Jinn fortress inside the
I
emerald.
wish they just
Opal.
killed
God
her.
damn it, get it right.
They should have just killed her.
Yeah, it'd have been, well, I mean, whatever. We're at the fucking end.
We're at the end.
We're at the end.
Some people got to make it to the end.
So the Jinn basically, you know, pushes her to make her third wish, and she wishes the crane operator had not been drunk when he was working 2 days ago, which the Jinn is forced to grant, but it undoes the events of the entire movie. So it retcons it all, because without the crane operator being drunk, the statue doesn't fall down, and the Fire Opal, finally got it right the final time. Fire Opal doesn't get picked up by the guy who pawns it, which ends up at the auctioneer's house, which ends up with Alex examining it, unleashing the Jinn. So it undoes the whole fucking movie.
Sure. But plot hole, in my opinion, like, obviously he takes every wish and, like, twists it around. Like,
Yeah,
why didn't he do
that
that
one-
this time? Maybe I would have expected the crane operator to be, like, smoking crack before it or something.
Or, yeah, I mean, like, there's got to be a way where he's not drunk, and instead he's, you know, he does something else stupid. He snaps because the only thing keeping him fucking sane was the couple fingers of
booze, yeah,
whiskey.
exactly.
So he comes in and shoots everybody, and the crane falls anyways. I mean, like, I don't know. The Jinn didn't try hard enough on that one.
Yeah, he was outsmarted pretty easily at the end.
It's like he wanted to go back to his fucking Fire Opal. I did it right again.
Yes. But Wishmaster 2, he comes back. And at the
Yeah.
end, he goes back into the jewel, right?
Yeah, and he's just like left lying in wait for somebody else to eventually unleash him. So it's the perfect ending in that it just lends itself to another, you know, Wishmaster. It's what you want for 90s horror sequels.
Pretty badass.
Yeah.
Pretty badass. No, this was a great choice just because, I mean, there's so many references to the other films, you know?
Oh, yeah.
This is like a very, again, it's like a very kind of specific subgenre of horror that I don't know like what you would call it, but it's almost like classic camp horror.
Classic camp horror. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we just do it mostly by the decades for like really broad strokes, and you go subgenre from there.
This is the
And I
Wes
guess-
Craven brand of horror, and actually he was the producer.
Correct. Yeah, I guess Wes Craven-y. It's just like 90s horror, man, which is just such a good decade of horror, in my opinion. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. And, low budget movie. I mean, they made it work, man.
Yeah. Also, a number of the characters' names are just like not random trivia, but trivia at the end talking about how it's like an ode to horror. A number of the characters are named after influential 20th century sci-fi or horror writers.
Yes.
With
None
Jack
of
Finney,
whom I have read.
Jack Finney, Charles Beaumont, August Derleth, and Abraham Merritt. Read that one off for you.
I would say another thing that makes this movie interesting is like it just happened to come just at that perfect time. It was the awkward transition between practical effects and special effects. So in this movie, you have a healthy dose of both together.
Sure. Which soon would become entirely cost prohibitive to do.
Yep.
I'm just glad whenever we get practical effects anymore. Anytime I get practical effects, it just gives me the tingly sensation down under, man. It's just it's what Andrew likes.
I get it.
It's what Andrew likes. It's what I grew up on.
Sounds like you want to fuck a puppet.
I don't want to fuck a puppet. Now, a Pikachu love doll. Just kidding,
man.
Guys. That's
They got
an
them
old
online.
They do. I'm sure they do. I do not want to fuck a Pikachu love doll. I've got very normal sexual preferences.
Sounds like you're protesting a little too much.
Methinks thou doth protest too much.
Anyway, Flickers.
Yeah. Flickers for getting off.
Thanks for joining us. Feel like we learned way too much about Andrew at the end, but we're gonna move on, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.